I never imagined that one sentence spoken in a cold living room in suburban Pennsylvania would shake my marriage to the core. It happened on a rainy Saturday afternoon. My husband, Mark, had invited his mother, Linda, to stay with us for a few weeks. Anyone who knows Linda would understand why those words felt like a bad omen. She wasn't cruel, but she had a sharp tongue that never hesitated to slice through someone's confidence. And since the day I married her son, she seemed to reserve her sharpest attacks for me. I tried to prepare myself mentally for her visit, but nothing could prepare me for what she actually said. I had just returned from grocery shopping when I heard her whispering in my kitchen. She didn't realize I was standing near the doorway. "She doesn't belong in this house," she muttered. "Mark deserves a real wife, not someone who barely fits into this family." I froze. It felt like someone had poured ice water down my spine. Then she said something even worse. "I'm going to make sure she leaves before she ruins him." My breath caught in my throat. I didn't want to confront her in anger, so I turned back toward the garage, pretending I hadn't heard anything. But the words clung to me like wet clothes. I didn't belong. I didn't deserve her son. I wasn't a real wife. By the time I entered the kitchen with grocery bags, my smile was trembling. "Back already?" Linda asked sweetly, as if she hadn't just declared war. I nodded silently. Mark was upstairs, unaware of the storm forming under his roof. I wondered if it was worth telling him. Would he take my side or hers? That evening, Mark and I prepared dinner together. Normally, that brought us closer, but that night, his mother sat at the counter, watching our every move. She didn't talk much, which somehow felt worse. Every glance she shot me was like a silent accusation. When Mark stepped out to answer a call, she took her chance. "You know," she said, tapping her perfectly manicured nails on the counter, "some women try really hard to fit into a family, but trying doesn't equal belonging." I swallowed hard. "Linda, I really wish—" "Oh, honey," she interrupted, "don't strain yourself. This house, this family, it's not exactly your type of place." My jaw tightened. My heart beat faster. I wanted to scream, cry, defend myself, anything, but I held it in. Mark returned 2 minutes later, smiling as if everything was normal. I knew I had to tell him. After dinner, when his mother went to shower, I finally spoke. "Mark, your mom said something today. Actually, a few things." He looked tired instantly. "What now?" I hated that tone. I told him exactly what I heard. That I didn't belong. That I wasn't good enough. That she wanted me out of his life. Mark rubbed his forehead. "Babe, you know how she is. She says things she doesn't mean." "That's not good enough," I said, louder than intended. "You need to stand up for me, or at least acknowledge that she's being hurtful." He didn't answer right away, and the silence hurt more than his words ever could. For the first time in our marriage, I went to bed without him. The next morning, Linda behaved as if nothing had happened. She complimented the curtains. She asked about my job. She even offered to help with laundry, something she never did. But I knew this wasn't guilt. It was strategy. Mark left early for work, leaving me alone with her. As soon as his car disappeared, she dropped the act. "Your little complaining session last night was cute," she said while sipping coffee. "Really, you think Mark will choose you over me?" My heart thudded painfully. "I don't want him to choose," I answered. "I just want basic respect." She smirked. "Respect is earned, and you haven't earned an ounce of mine." That did it. I set my coffee down and stared right at her. "Why do you hate me so much?" She laughed, genuinely laughed. "Hate? Oh no, sweetie, I don't hate you. I just see you clearly. You're not strong enough for him. You're not ambitious like his ex. You're not classy like the women I imagined for him." My chest tightened. "And you think telling me I don't belong will fix that?" She shrugged. I'm simply telling the truth. One day, he'll realize it too. That morning became the darkest one of my life. On Wednesday evening, everything exploded. I was in the backyard watering the plants when I heard shouting inside the house. Mark's voice, then his mother's. I hurried inside. Linda was pointing a finger at Mark while he stood with his arms crossed. "You're blinded by her," Linda yelled. "She's manipulating you. She wants to pull you away from your family." Mark replied, "Mom, she told me everything you said." My breath hitched. "He believed me?" Linda scoffed. "You think she didn't twist it? She's insecure, Mark. That's why she complained." Mark shook his head. "I heard you this morning." My stomach flipped. "He heard?" Linda looked stunned. What did you hear?" "You said she isn't good enough for me. That she'll ruin me. That she doesn't belong here." I was in the hallway. Her face drained of color. For the first time, Linda was speechless. Mark continued, "Mom, I love you, but this is my wife, and you don't get to decide whether she belongs." I had never heard him speak with such firmness. Linda looked at me, her eyes suddenly glassy. "Mark, she's taking you away from me." "No," he said gently, "but you're pushing yourself away by hurting her." She took a shaky breath. I thought I was protecting you." "By insulting my wife?" he asked. Linda sank onto the couch, trembling slightly. Her armor cracked, and for the first time since I met her, she didn't look like a villain. She looked like a mother terrified of losing her son. The silence in the room was thick. I didn't want to watch a family fall apart because of me. I didn't want Mark to choose sides. I wanted peace. I sat down next to her. "Linda." My voice was soft. She didn't meet my eyes, but she whispered, "I'm afraid. That's all. Afraid that one day you'll take him and move far away, or that I'll be alone." My heart softened. "I'm not taking him away. I want to be part of your family, not replace you." Finally, she looked at me. Really looked. Her eyes were red, her voice unsteady. "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said those things. I thought, if I pushed you away, he'd need me more." Mark sat down on her other side and placed his hand on hers. "Mom, I'll always need you, but you need to let me build my own life too." She nodded slowly. Then she turned to me again. "I don't expect you to forgive me quickly, but I'll try, I promise. You do belong here. I was wrong." Tears welled in my eyes. It wasn't perfect. It was a start. Over the next few weeks, things changed. Small changes at first. She stopped criticizing my choices. She asked for my opinion about things. She even helped me bake cookies one evening. Then one night, when Mark stepped out, she approached me. "I didn't believe I could like you," she said honestly. "But you've shown me more patience than I deserved. Thank you." I smiled. Families aren't perfect, but they're worth fighting for. She nodded, and for the first time, she hugged me. A real hug. A year later, we were all sitting at the dining table celebrating Linda's birthday. She laughed louder than I'd ever heard before and insisted on giving a toast. "To my son," she said, "and to the daughter I didn't know I needed." My eyes watered. Mark squeezed my hand under the table, and in that moment, I realized something important. Sometimes, the people who hurt you the most are the ones who fear losing you. Linda didn't hate me. She feared change. She feared loneliness. And because Mark stood up, and because I stayed patient, we became a stronger family. I finally belonged. Not because Linda accepted me, but because I never stopped fighting for my place.
If you enjoyed this story, the next one will touch your heart even more.